Hey, good morning. Yes, it is. It's Tuesday morning, the 12th. So I thought today what we would discuss, because I know that each person, each shop is unique in a certain way. I'd like to hear from you guys on this as well, on what your take or what you guys do in your shops if you have a shop. But the first thing I thought we would cover is one of you guys asked in the questions, what's your warranty on parts and labor? And it's a good question. The other thing I thought we'd talk about is what I call Frankenstein machines. And then lastly, which goes kind of with the first part, is do you allow customers to bring their own parts with the equipment to get fixed? Alright, so you know how I am. I kind of jump back and forth, but let's go with the first part. What's my warranty on parts and labor? Well, that's where each shop is unique. Some shops say you need a 90% markup, while others can do it for a lot less. Now, what I do here at this shop is, depending on where I'm buying the part, if I'm buying it online, direct from a Chinese supplier, I will double that cost. And that's the cost of that part. And then I have the labor to put it in. Now, why am I doubling that cost? I'm doubling it. For one, you have to make money in the shop. But for two, I'm still paying less for that. The customer is still paying less for that part than had I got it from an OEM supplier or a lot of the aftermarket suppliers. It's still below what list price, or it's a lot of times even below what dealer price is on it. But what I have found is there's a higher failure rate in the Chinese stuff than there is with the aftermarket and the OEM. That's a fact. That's not saying one is better than the other. I'm just saying that my experience is I have more failure rate with buying the Chinese. But why am I doubling the price? Well, one, to make money on it, but two, because of the warranty. If you're going to remain in business very long, you are going to have to warranty parts and labor. No ifs, ands, or buts. If you can't stand behind your work, then you'll find that you'll end up with no work. But I take it situation by situation by situation. See, most aftermarket and OEM manufacturer parts, distributors, what have you, they have a warranty on their parts. A 1-year warranty, bumper. All right? What they don't tell you is that they will not cover the cost of labor. So you have your labor. If you have to see it again, you're going to have to eat it. So with the Chinese, stuff that you're seeing on Amazon and eBay, and you're seeing from a number of U.S. suppliers, is they're not warrantying those parts. The only warranty you're going to get on those parts is if you get it and there's something defective that you can spot and either create a case against the seller, ask for a return, what have you. But once you put it in the unit, it's used. You can't take it back off and put it back into a box and ship it back to the seller. That's just not okay. See, I ran into that when we were selling a lot of parts. I had guys that were parts replacers. And what they would do is, if they couldn't get it running, they would order a carburetor off from us. And we'd ship it out same day or next day. A couple days later, we get a thing in our messaging system saying they want to return the part. What's wrong with it? Nothing. We ordered it incorrectly. It used to be how they put it. Some of them would just come out and lie and just say that it was defective, and that way they wouldn't have to cover return shipping on it. But 85-90% of those people that shipped it back and we got it back, you could smell the gas. You could smell where they tried it and eliminated that it wasn't that part that was causing their issue. So yes, we warranty all the parts and all the labor that goes out of our shop. If I rubber stamp it, it's ready to go, then I have to stand behind it. And we don't just, oh yeah, we got it fixed and set it out front and have the customer come and pick it up and then hope for the best. Once my mechanic signs off on it, I'm going to get on it. I'm going to try it because my name is on that unit when it leaves. My reputation is on that unit when it leaves. So I want to make sure that it's running and driving or it's operating correctly the way it should. And if that means I'm going to run up and mow my yard, I've had to do that before, where we've had guys tell us, after a while, the engine will just quit. And if you let it sit for a little bit, it'll start back up. And your first thought, if you're a mechanic, is coil. Something's breaking down. And we tested the coils on that machine, and they weren't breaking down. And my mechanic was going around and around with it. So finally I just said, look, I'm going to go up and try it on my yard. Which the shop is about a mile and a half from my farm, the homestead. So I took that machine up there and I mowed with it. And sure enough, after about 20 minutes, half an hour, the engine quit. Let it sit for a minute. It would start right back up again and go, and then it would quit. So I brought it back to the shop, and the mechanic and I were scratching our heads. And I said, well, we need to start from the basics on this. Fuel. Are we getting enough fuel? Well, come to find out, I don't know how it happened, but there was a couple ladybugs floating around in that tank. And as the fuel was being drawn, one of them ladybugs, they were both dead, would land perfectly on that outlet for the fuel. and it would act as a restriction. It would plug it, and the engine would quit because it would be starved for fuel. That goes back to, part of dumping the fuel and knowing that you're starting with fresh. We would have spotted the ladybugs had we done that, but we knew the customer and we knew it was fresh fuel. But when it comes to warranty and stuff, there's one thing I found in life, and that is you cannot fix being stupid. And you can't control what the customer is doing it and how they're using that machine and what's going on that end. And I've seen guys take lawnmowers and think that they were brush hogs. Doing hay fields the farmers do for their cows and doing trails, up around their property with stuff as big as your pinky, chewing it up with a lawnmower blade. If somebody is abusing a unit, you shouldn't warranty it. Now, some shops have flat rate for their mechanics. And that is the business only covers the parts. The mechanic is responsible for the labor. Here at my shop, I'm responsible for both. I will cover the cost to replace the part and the labor it takes to get the unit running again. Now, if it's stupidity, like somebody pouring old gas in it, that's ethanol gas, and we get it back, the customer is saying that, it's not working right, blah, blah, blah. First thing I ask is, did you put fresh gas in it? Yes, I got gas out of the gas can. It's not what I asked you. Did you put fresh gas in it? Because I'll sit there with a customer and take them out right up to the shop and pop the bottom of the fuel bowl and put it in a cup so they can see it. That's water. The bulk of the time when we have issues like that, it's water in the fuel. Because the customer did not want to waste that fuel. If you don't want to waste that fuel, dump it in your vehicle. Don't put it in your small engines. Your newer vehicles are made to run on it, but not your small engines. But no, for you that asked, what's the warranty on parts and labor, it's 100%. Unless stupidity is involved. And we can point it out that it was stupidity. Or it's a different issue when it comes back than what it was when we left it. If it came in because it wasn't running right, and my mechanic figures that out and gets it running good, and then it comes back because one of the pulleys on the deck, the belt keeps falling off, that's something totally different. And here's something for you mechanics and you shop owners. When we get something in for a specific problem, and they don't want us to fix anything else other than that specific problem, I still have my mechanics take a few minutes and go through the whole thing. And then we write right on the shop ticket anything that we see that is or can be an issue other than what they wanted us to fix. And that's, once I get the shop ticket, then I put it through Excel and I create the actual invoice that they are to pay. It's listed right there. So if they come back a week later and they say, well, this is going, it's right here, it's on the list. You did not want us to fix those things. You wanted us just to fix this one thing. That's it. And you got to do that. In this business, you have to cover thy ass. And you have to be willing to say no when you see a piece of crap come through. That it's going to be a continual piece of crap. And you don't want to keep seeing it over and over and over again. So if you don't cover your parts warranty, you're going to be out of business in short order. That's comes right down to it. That leads me into the other part of, do you allow customers to bring in their own parts? Absolutely not. No. If you are allowing your customers to bring you the parts that they're buying off from Amazon at cost, how the hell can you warranty the job? Because when it comes to warranty, you're warranting not only your work, but those parts that customer brought you. And I can tell you right now, the customer bought it off from Amazon and eBay. There's no warranty on those parts. So that's a big if, because I don't allow it. A big if the customer is supplying the parts, I'd have on every slip, as is, where is. As is, where is. No warranty. But why am I doing it with a warranty if I'm buying the parts? Because I'm marking them up twice as much to cover if there is a flaw in that piece of equipment, that part that I bought. That at least I'm going to break even when I have to go buy another one to replace it. Why would you risk covering the whole cost when you're the only one, when you're only doing the work on it, putting the part on? So I would strongly recommend to you guys, don't warranty anything if you're allowing the customers to apply the parts. I can remember 2 instances where I've allowed it. One was a regular customer of ours that had gone out and bought a brand new John Deere, and he was a stickler for warranty. He trusted us, and he asked if I would let him go down to the local John Deere dealership and buy the service kit to do the complete service on his lawnmower. And that particular lawnmower took a special type of filter that popped up in, and so I allowed that. That was for a service. It wasn't for issues, it was for a service. The other time I can remember, a gal named Brenda, she brought us a box of parts she had bought. She had 3 different mowers, and all of them were crap mowers. And she brought us a box, and she said, well, can you just install all these? And I'll be honest with you, my mechanic was standing right here, and he went out and looked at the mowers that were on the trailer and came back, handed her the box back, and said, no, we're not doing it. Because he could see so much more wrong with what she had. And he started having me look up parts to see, and they weren't even the right parts. So that brings me to my final part of today, is the Frankenstein machine. Why was he so quick to turn her and her parts away? Because all 3 of her machines were Frankenstein machines. And what am I calling a Frankenstein machine? I'm calling a Frankenstein machine something that didn't come with that engine, didn't come with that deck. You can't go by the make and model of the unit to try to find parts. They re-welded decks to fit, a Cub Cadet on a Murray. Hey, if you got cutting torches, it's great, but there's no way to know exactly what size belt that it takes anymore, because now you've turned it into a Frankenstein machine. I mean, we could take and run a tape or a string or what have you, but in our shop, if we can replace, if we have an engine out of a John Deere and it's the same engine or close to it, we will swap engines for them. We will sell them an engine. But we can't. We buy up riding lawnmowers too, and bring them into the shop and repair what needs to be repaired and put them out front. But I have to be careful because I will not sell a Frankenstein machine. I have to know that that unit has got the same engine, the same deck, same everything that it came with from the factory. A lot of your stuff, if you lift up the hood, it lists everything that you need for that unit. If you swap decks, if you swapped engines, and rework things, then none of that is true anymore. And I guarantee you, if you go to any business that sells parts and they're trying to do parts lookups for you, it's not going to happen because they can't. It's okay for you homeowners, you guys that are do-it-yourselfers. If you want to create a Frankenstein machine just to get another year out of it, but don't bring it to us, and don't go to a parts place and try to get parts for it. Unless it's for a Briggs engine and you got the model and type out the valve cover. But I've seen guys swap valve covers from other engines, and now they've changed the model number on the engine that it doesn't match what the valve cover is. I've seen those before. And if you're in business very long, you're going to see a lot of this crap. People just trying to keep things going. So on that note, you guys have a great Tuesday. I got to get in today and post your comments on this. I'd like to hear about the shop warranty, shop rates, and what you think and have seen for Frankenstein machines. All right.